Hi guys and girls, Gallifrey Forever 97 here. Welcome to today's video going through my top 5 things I would like to see in Series 12 if I was given the keys to the next series. Before I get to my own personal list, please let me know in the comment section below what you would like to see with Series 12. It could be returning monsters, returning companions. Any of your thoughts, let me know in the comment section below. Everyone just be civil. Please in the comment section. Firstly, at number 5, we have more guest writers. Series 11 had all new writers for the guest written episodes, which was mainly in the back half of Series 11, which has resulted in the best episodes of the series. With every new writer, they kind of bring their own voice and opinions to the show. I think that you can find that through any writer's work. I think with this new era, it's really nice to have a kind of new voice for Doctor Who. And I think these episodes did kind of stand out more compared to other episodes written by Chris Chibnall. Chibnall wrote over half of Series 11 with 6.5 episodes in total, with Rosa being co-written with Mallory Blackman. I can understand the reason behind this. He kind of wanted to obviously set out the characters, the tone of the series. By the time episodes 4 and 5 comes about, with Series 11, you kind of get that fatigue with his writing, as he has literally wrote 5 episodes in a row. But hopefully in Series 12, the majority of episodes will be written by guest writers. I think it kind of allows more creativity. I know before Series 11, there was a speculation of a writer's room, but no word on that. But that is quite an interesting move to kind of boost creativity, etc. But my kind of dream team for Series 12 would be new guest writers, and also returning guest writers from the previous series. I think that'd be really nice to see. I think this would allow Chibnall to kind of concentrate more time playing out the overall series, the kind of themes and story arc, and allowing other guest writers to write the individual episodes. My number 4 pick is more character development for the companions. So the TARDIS fan was brought together by the death of Grace in the opening episode, The Woman Who Fell to Earth, which kind of led the series' tone and story arc, focusing on the grievance of her character, which mainly focused on Ryan and Graham, and they were kind of centre frame, kind of put the Doctor and Yaz kind of to the back fourth in a way. And I know at the press screening for Resolution, Christian did comment about Yaz, saying she would get a kind of main focus story in Series 12, which is very hopeful to hear. But it's a shame she kind of suffered in Series 11. But to be honest, juggling 3 companions is a very difficult task. If you look at previous companion teams, Season 19 with the Doctor, Adric, Tegan and Nissa, you kind of get more focus on certain companions than others. I think it's very difficult to get the right balance, and to us there was some really great moments of the character team in Series 11, but I think as a whole, I think there's more sort of time put into Graham and Ryan's relationship, because obviously we have the death of Grace, kind of left Yaz to the sidelines. Now I'm not expecting the kind of Grace thing to completely go away. I think it will be mentioned. Obviously death is something you don't get over, it's kind of how you deal with it. I think now the companions have had their own resolution, part of the New Year special, with Grace. I think it would be great to see them kind of step out of the shadow of that grievance and kind of become their own person. I think it would be really nice to explore their individualities, like Yaz, for example, kind of using more of a skill set as part of like Sheffield's police force. We've got a few glimpses of that, but I think it'd be really cool to see more of that, maybe sort of Earthbound stories in Sheffield, maybe with her working alongside the police. Also Graham and Ryan, like sort of looking more into their friends and how that relationship as well is kind of fervent and even tested. Even though a really nice resolution, it'd be interesting to see how that is tested through being on board the TARDIS. But I think for them to develop more of the companions, I think more stories have to be set in Sheffield in Series 12, so you kind of get their backstories, and then we go on further adventures, how that translates. Number 3 is a darker version of the 13th Doctor. Now, in my opinion, the 13th Doctor is a very hopeful and outgoing, loving every bit of life, which is played ecstatically by Jodie Whittaker in a genius and hilarious way. But although we do get some hints of a darker side of the character in a couple episodes, like The Witchfinders, Takes You Away, I think it'd be really great to explore more of that darker side, which to be honest has resulted in the best moments in episodes and previous series, with Doctors sort of going dark and being tested. For example, the waters of Mars, like the 10th Doctor being pushed to the edge, taking time into his own hands. The Doctor in some people's eyes is a god, and I think that's a timeless of views. I think seeing that power sort of go to the Doctor's head would be really interesting. I think it'd be really brilliant to see how 13 translates that through her Doctor, being put into different situations, kind of testing her limits, showing the companions a different side to her, like making difficult decisions, which maybe the companions might not agree with. As a Time Lord and kind of knowing all this stuff, like I think it'd be really cool to see that kind of dilemma play out. I feel like many people, the Sonic Screwdriver was a bit overused in Series 7. I think the breaking point for me was when she used the Sonic to take off a bit of rope, which she could have done easier with her hands. It's just kind of like, yeah, I'll just do it with the Sonic because it's sort of cool. And I really have the design of the Sonic, and obviously is a great sort of essential part of Doctor Who. But I think it'd be really cool to sort of have that taken out of the equation, so it's kind of more challenge more and can't rely on that, which could allow to sort of being more unique gadgets being built. Like, I love seeing 13 build these like cool and quirky gadgets in a very sort of DIY style, with obviously the woman who fell to earth making her sonic screwdriver, and then making that device in Demons of the Punjab, which I love to see more of that in series 12 instead of relying on the sonic screwdriver. I think this also more define her Doctor, kind of making it more darker, as with series 11 she seemed very sort of unsure of herself and kind of what to do. That don't really kind of resolve in series 11. So I think this would kind of fine tune her Doctor, kind of where she stands morally and kind of make her more assertive. And I think that would be a perfect character development for her Doctor, who is a very hopeful, outgoing Doctor, and kind of being presented with these darker and testing moments, seeing how that kind of changes her. Number 2 is re-establishing the Time Lords. Probably thinking, oh what? No, please don't. But the Time Lords obviously were left in a kind of state of disarray after Hellbent, with obviously that episode more focusing on Clara Oswald's storyline, and kind of disabandoning the Time Lords halfway through. They weren't the main focus. We know Gallifrey's still out there, but it hasn't been brought back since series 9. The Doctor really hasn't mentioned it, probably due to the circumstances that they left it on. But I do think enough time now has gone past to bring them back as a kind of fully established race, see how they've evolved over many years, maybe sort of seeing a new design. Also having enough time after the Time War, kind of see how much that experience has changed them. I found it really cool for the Doctor's friends to see like kind of where she came from, learn more about her mythology. We've never seen that conversation on screen about sort of like she's a Time Lord, 2 hearts, etc, etc. She had a private chat about it off screen. I think it'd be really nice to see that on screen, to be honest. Also bringing Times back, I think would open the door as well to more Time Lord renegades or allies as well. Now, although I love the character of the Master / Missy, I felt the series 10 finale was a perfect send-off to the character. I'm sure they'll bring back that character someday. I'm sure they'll resurrect Missy after a certain amount of years. But I think now's the time to kind of explore other Time Lords. The possibilities are endless, like we can see return of many great enemies, including the Mega, the Rani, Morbius, adding new versions along the way. A lot of people thought that Krusco, who was the villain in Rosa, would be the meddling monk, who debuted in the first Doctor story, the Time Meddler, which I think would have been quite a cool idea, and I think it's something to maybe sort of pick up on. Re-establishing the Time Lords properly this time could really open the doors for some really creative decisions of story terms and overall story arcs for the coming series. And my number 1 choice is cliffhangers / two-parters. I'm going to count that as one thing. Of course, Doctor Who is known for many iconic things, and a part of that is cliffhangers, finding out what happens next week. It happened at the end of every episode, and obviously those episodes had 4 to 6 parts on average. And although there's the new series with Rusty Davis, Steve Moffat, kind of partially adapted that with having the odd couple cliffhangers, having the single episodes. The last couple of years, we've literally had little to nothing apart from the series 10 finale. I really love the cliffhanger from The Woman Who Fell to Earth, which was so different because obviously usually they kind of wrap it up in one story, but it was really nice to kind of lead that into the next episode with them being trapped in space, and it's like what happens next, and I really love that. And we never got that again, sadly, in series 11. I know the black and white era of Doctor Who used to do that all the time, kind of linking into each episode. Like, even though the kind of story ended, you'd have a link to kind of say like it's kind of all one kind of story going on. I also don't do that for every episode, because obviously that kind of allows kind of little periods for books and adaptations to kind of fit in. One thing series 7 completely scrapped was the two-parters, where one story would be told over 2 or more episodes. Now, I understand the thinking of this, having the kind of standard episodes each week, allowing the average viewer to be able to tune in for an episode and follow the story of that week and not have to worry about a kind of overarching kind of story or the previous weeks, for example. However, I think now that we've established Jodie's Doctor and her TARDIS team, I think it's time to be more kind of experimental with the second series, trying to vitalise the cliffhangers in two-parters, which was essential Doctor Who, which I think would also make each episode a must-watch in Series 12. So there you have it, that's my things I like to see in Series 12. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please comment, like and subscribe. You can hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, links to all the channel's social medias in the description below. Again, what is your top list of stuff you would like to see be done in Series 12? Can't wait to continue the discussion down in the comment section below. Please let me know in the comments as well what discussion videos or kind of list videos for Doctor Who Series 12 or previous eras of the show. Any suggestions, let me know in the comment section below, and one day you might see one of your ideas on this channel. So as always, guys and girls, thank you very much for watching. and I shall see you next time. Bye bye.